2017. My name is Michelle Graycheck, and I will be the presenter during today's webinar. Please note that today's call is being recorded, and it is requested that all participant lines remain muted throughout the broadcast. In addition, please make sure to choose the correct audio option, computer audio or phone. Once you sign into the web screen sharing option, you can do so by selecting View Audio Options. All individuals joining by computer audio will be automatically muted. If you dialed in by phone, you were asked for an audio pin. The audio pin can be found within your user panel once signing into the computer. Please make sure to enter this, as it will help NAB troubleshoot any audio issues encountered during the call. You can do so by hitting pound audio pin, or whatever your pin is on the computer screen, pound on your phone. If you need assistance at any point during today's presentation, please contact one of the NAB staff co-leaders through the chat box option. Today's webinar is scheduled for an hour. This time frame does allow for Q&A at the end of the presentation. If you have questions, these can be entered into the chat box at any time throughout the presentation. To do so, simply type your question into the chat box area. Please place your cursor in the white space and type your question. Be sure to send your question to everyone and then click on the send button located next to the box. We will answer as many questions as we have time to do so at the end of the presentation. You may also email questions to nab@nabweb.org, and we will respond to those within the next 24 hours. Please note that today's presentation will involve screen sharing as we share features and benefits of the CE Registry. You can use the GoToMeeting features within your attendee panel to best fit the webinar presentation to your screen. Again, thank you for joining, and we're getting ready to get started. I wanted to take one more minute to introduce two other individuals on today's call. I have two other NAB staff members that you probably have either worked with or you're going to work with as we launch the CE Registry in April. One is Christy Wolford. She is a program manager with NAB, and she does a lot with our continuing education programs. If you have been submitting any programs, you might have heard from her. Christy, are you able to unmute your phone and just say hi to the group?
Hello, everyone. You can reach me at the NAB inbox, and I'm always available if you have any questions.
Thank you, Christy. The other individual, her name is Lisa Longfellow. She is a temporary employee of NAB. She has specifically come on board to help us as we launch the new CE Registry, and she is going to be helping us with customer service and things involved with the CE Registry. Lisa, are you on the call?
Hello, I'm here.
Hi. Thank you, Lisa.
Hi.
So Lisa will be able to help you with any of your member needs and things like that. So thank you both for joining today's call. So we're going to go ahead and get started with today's webinar. It doesn't look like my screen is showing, so let me get the screen shown. All right. All right, we're going to go over today's agenda. We're going to first cover the overview and intent of the CE Registry. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the registry benefits to CE providers. We're going to talk about signing up for the CE Registry, really from an administrator standpoint. Talk about how to enter records into the CE Registry, your attendee records. And then talk about next steps. And we also, in next steps, are going to talk about some resources. And if you attended a webinar prior or have been attending any of our Q&A sessions, we have made some changes based on your feedback from those sessions. So first, we're going to talk a little bit about the NAB CE Registry. On July 1st, 2017, NAB launched a national CE registry as part of the larger NAB Verify system. The NAB Verify system houses both the HSE application and the third-party certification program application, as well as the NCERS program. The CE registry system is available nationwide to all long-term care licensees. I have received the question, is it available to residential care or assisted living certified individuals? It is available to those individuals as well. Assistant administrators, right now you do need to have either a license or certification number. That is mandatory. So if they are a student, they cannot enroll in the registry at this point because they don't actually have a license number and a need to earn continuing education. The registry is free for licensed administrators to enroll. As sponsors and state affiliate organizations begin promoting this with their member bases or continue to promote it at this point, it is important to note this. While individuals will need to sign up for a member account on the NAB website, it does not have to be a paid membership to NAB. And we have had some individuals who have gotten confused between this and our HSE application. So it's really important to note that this should really be a 5-minute process. They should not have to pay any money. So if they're getting into something where they're having to pay any money, get your NAB scores, get your college transcripts, anything like that, they're probably not in the correct location. And we'll need to probably stop and call us or send us an email to get redirected to where to go. And again, licensees must register to have their credit reported to the registry. And I did just say signing up is a 3-minute process. And once they're signed up, the system will use the licensee's first name and last name as one of the following 3 mechanisms to verify that the CE is being reported to the correct record. It can use their email address, it can use their practitioner ID, or it can use their unique NAB ID number, which is the one that we strongly recommend and what we have been asking most of our providers to collect. We'll discuss the options when reviewing how to upload records, as there are some exceptions with our email addresses that you need to know that some individuals can't use those items. They can have both NCERS, which stands for National Continuing Education Review Service, and non-NCERS courses, approved courses can be added. So it's really NAB and non-NAB approved courses can be added to the database. It's important to note that certificates will only auto-populate for courses uploaded by NAB sponsors. There is an option to upload a certificate for courses with state approval, as well as courses not added by NCERS providers. A licensee must have a CE registry account in order for a sponsor to upload the credit. If they don't have a CE registry account, they will not be able to upload the credits. Or you won't be able to upload the credits, excuse me. And then the last thing is, on April 1st, NAB approved CE sponsors, which is the individuals on the call today, will be required to upload your conference attendance records to the registry for all registrants seeking NAB credits, so all long-term care administrators. And any of these courses uploaded directly to the registry are considered to be provider verified, and the benefit of this will be that they will have a certificate that will auto-populate into the system. So what are the benefits for CE providers? Once you begin reporting to the registry, you will no longer have to provide paper certificates, digital certificates to the administrators outside of the CE registry, and that's after April 1st, 2018. So once credits are uploaded directly to the registry, a certificate will be automatically generated with the information populated by the provider. So the approval number, the credits that that person earned, their name, the date they earned those credits will all be populated into the certificate. After this date, once you have effectively loaded that record to the registry, certificates, you do not have to issue those. They can download them directly from the registry. State boards have been have had their own orientation on to how to verify if a certificate's provider verified versus if it's a self-reported certificate, and they can be assured that the credit's been validated as accurate by an association or company. Another benefit to CE providers is organizations are no longer going to have to provide reports to state boards after June 30th of 2018. And again, the state boards have been notified of this as the first of the year, that they will no longer, after that June 30th date, so you will need to report your June credits to the state boards, but after June, you will no longer have to report credits to these states. 9 states, they're listed and noted on the screen, have monthly reporting requirements. So after June 30th, 2018, sponsors will no longer be required to submit monthly reports to these state boards, which currently require them, as they will now be able to access these directly through the registry, and they can actually pull these reports from there. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about how individuals will go about signing up for a CE registry. And this is really for administrators. This is not for the providers who are on the call today, because you actually already have the attendance reporting capability already in your accounts. This is for individuals who would attend your conference. So what they're going to do, if they already have a NAB account, they're just going to log in on our website at the www.nabweb.org, manage my account. Individuals that would have a NAB account are anybody who has been a NAB reviewer, was a prior CE sponsor, has ever attended a NAB meeting, has ever volunteered on a NAB committee, task force, would have they would have a NAB member account. If they are unsure, they are more than welcome to email nab@nabweb.org, and we can check if an account is on file in their name. If they do not have an account within NAB, they may choose not a member, sign up. And again, it's very important to let them know that it's not a paid membership, even though it says member login. If an individual tries to sign up for a member account with duplicate information, the system will warn them that there is a customer on file with this information. Please ask your licensees, or not your licensees, but your attendees, to do their best to not duplicate files. If they have older registries under a different account, it can be difficult to merge them into one record. We have to make special requests to do that. Additionally, it's important to note that a paid member account is not needed to sign up for the registry. We have had quite a few people who've paid, and we've had to issue refunds. So we will give them their money back if they do pay for something, but it just will take them a little bit of time to get it back. So we have a question for non-NCERS approved courses. You will not be uploading those records. Yes, those can be added themselves. These are courses that are approved at the state level. I know, for example, Ohio does approve courses, and those can be added by the individual. I would strongly advise anybody who you work with to let them know that, I see Nebraska does, there's quite a few that do. I would strongly advise them to upload any certificates they receive or anything like that, but that's going to be at a state approval level. So that's not going to be at our level. So that would just be at the state level. I did also get a question, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. If you work with the e-broker, you want to make sure that we're working with the e-broker to make sure that those records that you load to the NAB registry are going to be able to populate into CE broker as well. So you won't have to do it twice. So we're working with them to do that. They will export into CE Broker. So how to sign up for a CE registry for administrators. So once they've actually signed up for a NAB account, they're going to log in. And it's important to let them know that they're actually going to create their own username and password. We've had some people who have tried to sign in with an email address, but it's actually like usually their first initial last name is what we suggest that they set up. Our site does not usually use special characters, things like that. So they need to make sure they remember whatever they set up for their username and password. Because we've had people call and say they don't know their username and password. So make sure you remind them to if they remember what they use. So if once they've logged in, they're going to click on the link that says, it no longer, I apologize, I thought I pulled this out. There's actually two buttons now. One says HSE application and one says CE registry. It's correct in the handbook. So they'll click on the button that says CE registry. It takes them to the same place. And they're actually going to see two buttons. One's going to say begin HSE application and one's going to say start registry. As of tomorrow, we are going to work with our developer and change this to say begin HSE application, begin CE registry. And we are actually going to probably change the position of the buttons. I don't know. We've kind of gone both ways to say, should we not? But I think we're going to put the CE registry button on top just because we've had some people get confused and just click the first button. So we're going to put the CE registry button on top so that they can go in and see that one first. So they'll log into their account and they'll pop onto the My Account page and see these two orange buttons. This section of the NAB Verify account is where they land. If they don't land on this page, they can always access it by clicking on the My Account section in the upper right-hand corner of the NAB Verify site. They might not land on this page if they already have an HSE application or they've already accessed the site in some other way. So they might not land on this page. Within the My Account section, there is an option always to start registry though. So if they can't find it, remind them to go to the My Account section. So once an individual has begun their registry, they will be asked to supply their licensing information. The information that they are asked to supply is their state abbreviation. They are asked to supply their type of license, whether it's a NHA, nursing home administration, resident care assisted living. We have home and community-based services or other. So that is for those individuals whose states might not call it one of the three. And then they can list what they are called. It's important that they include their licensing number. We no longer will ask for their licensing expiration date. And the reasoning being is because we are having one continuous registry now, not one that is going to expire. We have so many administrators who are licensed in multiple states and have multiple expiration dates of their licenses, and it occurs at different times, that we determined that it would be better if they had one registry and that they were able to pull reports based on that one registry. So they will no longer have multiple time periods of registry, so they don't have to enter their expiration date. The last thing they will enter on this page is they will have to enter their full state board name. So they'll enter the first three letters of their state name, and it'll pop up a list. And what that does is actually link their state to their account, and that they would be able to, their state would be able to access their records. Okay. So there are three options for providers. We're going to talk a little bit about uploading attendance records to the CE registry. There are three options that providers can use to upload attendance. The first one is that you can upload program attendance multiple records at one time, which if you're a large sponsor is going to be your best option. There's the option to manually enter program attendance, individual records. I talked to an individual yesterday who has a program that sometimes is only 2 individuals. That would be her best option. But for anything larger than 2 to 5 people, number 1 is going to be your best option. The third option is coming in May of 2018. We will have it up and running in April for a few pilot organizations, but it'll be officially up in May, is an API option. And we'll talk a little bit about what that is. This will be beneficial to individuals who do a lot of programs, or for individual providers who have self-study programs that individuals can take all of the time, and they don't really know when their individuals are taking the courses, and it's just they would have to pull records daily to really know when those individuals are taking courses. So let's talk about the first way that you can load attendance records. So once you are in your NCERS system, the way you're going to do this, you're going to log in just like you were going to enter a program into your NAB account. Once you're in the system, you will see a menu option that says Sponsor at the top of the blue menu. Underneath Sponsor, you want to choose Attendance. And it is there now, so you guys can look at this once this webinar is over today, and you will see this option. Once choosing the attendance menu option, providers can you can actually locate NAB ID numbers this way by using a registry search feature, and we'll talk more about that in a little bit. But really what you can do from this page is really upload attendance or enter attendance, and we're going to talk about uploading attendance. So when you're doing a group upload of records, you want to choose Upload Attendance. And after choosing Upload Attendance, probably the first thing you want to do, there'll be a large amount of instructions on that page. You want to download a template. So if you look at the instructions in the bottom right-hand corner, you want to download the template. This template is what's called a CSV file. It's an Excel sheet, but it's an Excel CSV file. And what that means is it's an Excel without any kind of formatting in it, like a text file. It does need when you finish your data entry, the information does need to remain in this format, so it will upload correctly. If you do have formatting in the sheet and you save it as a normal Excel file, it will not upload correctly. So that's very important to remember. The other thing I will tell you is if you are a large sponsor that might do scanning in and out of sessions, you can take the headings from this template. As long as the categories are named exactly the same, you can just use the headings, put them in your current spreadsheet, and save it as a CSV file. You just have to make sure you don't have anything extra in it and that you use the exact titles of the headings. You want to make sure all the records are complete prior to doing the final upload. If an error is found in a record, if an error is found with even one record in the list, the whole file will not upload. So you would have to take out that one file and re-upload the whole list. It will show you which area, which file. It'll give you the line number and say, line 49 has an error, and it'll tell you what the error is with that record, but it will not load. In addition, there is a limit of 500 records per upload. So you would load, if you have a conference with 1,000 people, you'd upload 500 and do another spreadsheet with 500. So if you have larger conferences, you want to split it into multiple files. The question has come up, how long does the upload take? It will be very quick for you. It's a couple of seconds, even with larger files. If your attendees, if it is a 500 file sheet, it will possibly take up to 30 minutes to an hour for it to actually appear on their registry. If it's a record of 5 people or you do it manually, it will be there automatically. So once you've done all this, you do want to make sure that you do the upload and process file. And like I said, the CE registry, it does sync every 15 minutes. So it should take between 15 and 30 minutes, but the smaller records go automatically. Okay, so this is what your spreadsheet's going to look like. It's obviously not going to have blue pretty headings. This is just for the PowerPoint. It's just going to be a text file, but this is just so you're able to see what the headings are going to look like. And this is filled out as an example. The NAB Excel CSV file does have the following categories, and all of these categories are mandatory except for the sessions attended. And I would think most of the people will probably not use this. This was requested by some of our larger sponsors that have breakout sessions and that they wanted to include this on their records. So we did add it. If you're not going to use this category, just please remove it from your sheet as a category. Just delete that heading. If you do want to use it, this would just simply be if you had breakout sessions or multiple conference sessions and you wanted a separate sheet to print out of the list of sessions that a person attended at your conference, that's what this category would be for. And we'll talk about how to enter things into that list. So the first category is program approval code. This is the NAB program approval number assigned to your program. This will be the same for each record within your spreadsheet of individuals who took the same course. You can upload multiple courses at one time. So if you had someone, you can see in my record, the first 4 people took the same course, but this last one was a different course. So that's why that last number is different, because I was just uploading multiple records. The second item on my list is a completion date. This is the actual date the course was taken. The completion date must be in the past and prior to the expiration date. So you cannot enter courses that are going to happen in the future. You can't enter them before the conference occurs or before someone takes a webinar. And if someone takes a course, a self-study, after it has expired, it cannot be used for credit. And the system will give you an error message if you try to upload those. The NAB ID number, there are 3 options that people can use for the NAB ID number. The first option is the one that we do recommend, and that is the unique NAB ID number. And it starts with an R, and it has 7 numbers that follow it. And that's the one that is assigned by the system. This is the one in the first 2 records. The reason NAB recommends that you use that one is it's because it's the only number within the database that the administrator cannot change. It is assigned upon sign up for the CE registry, and it is locked. It's just an automatic, it actually comes from our database. It's their record within our database. So that is just their NAB, and it says it's their unique identifier within the system. If they're looking for it, is what it's called. The other item that they can use is their email address. That will work, and it will match up to their record. This will work unless the email is the primary contact for a state licensing board. So if that individual does serve as a state licensing board person and they are the primary contact, the email will not work. Or they're the primary contact for one of our NCERS sponsors. So if it's one of you and you're the primary contact on your company record for CE, then your email address will not work either. So the other caveat with emails is if people change their email addresses and don't update them in the system, but they give you their new email address, then that would be another issue where an email would not work. And the third option is what we call the practitioner ID. And what that is, and it's in the system as well, is the state abbreviation of where they have listed their primary license, a dash, and then their license number. And that's whatever they enter into the system as their license number. Again, they could enter into our system NHA 5677, and they could give you 5677, and that is not considered a match. So those are the caveats that we do give to our providers, that the only number that is really standard and that will be in the system really forever is going to be that first NAB ID number. The next item on the spreadsheet is participant hours earned. This is just how many hours they earned if they attended a conference, they attended a webinar. This is what they earned. It's just important to remember that participant hours earned may not exceed the number of program hours approved for the program. So if there's 3 hours approved as participant hours, but you had 50 total program hours, you can't enter 50 program hours that that person earned because they couldn't have attended all the breakout sessions. The first name and last name, it's just important that they match what they enter into our database again. For example, if Robert Smith registers for your conference, but gives NAB the name of Bob Smith, a match won't occur. So those are just important things to remember as you're talking to your attendees. The last category is sessions attended. And again, this is optional. However, if you are going to enter sessions in this area, the attendee or licensee will get a second page that will be added to their certificate. So they'll have a certificate that is a summary and that says this person earned this many CEs. And then the second page will print out that has a list of the sessions attended. It breaks it out for them, and it's like on letterhead. It is important to separate all session titles and then any subsequent information with a semicolon so that it will show up on different line items. So you can see that I did NDS 3.0-1.50 CE. So that would show up on one line, and then I put a semicolon, and the next line would be regulation for a reason -1.50 CE. So it would break up the lines. The last thing I did want to point out is that you want to make sure that your date format is in 2-digit month, 2-digit day, and 4-digit year. Okay. We do have a question. It says, what if we are a self-study e-learning sponsor? What would we enter for the sessions attended? You would still do it the same way. So it would be the spreadsheet, program approval, completion date, NAB ID, and it would be the completion date of that person. Same thing with their NAB ID, because you would enter it just like you would do it if it was an in-person program. But the self-study, we're going to talk about the API, and that is where this API option might be beneficial to you because self-studies are completed at various times. It's not like a live webinar where everybody completes it at one time. So that might be something you might be interested in. So we'll talk about that. But self-studies are going to be entered the same way. NAB has a self-study program that we have. We have the AIT preceptor leadership course modules, and they're digital media courses, and we pull reports, and those are entered just like other courses would be entered. Spreadsheet, upload them. So we're going to talk a little bit about manually entering program attendance. What you do with this one, It's just with the upload model, you would go back to the sponsor tab. You're going to click on the attendance button. But instead of choosing the upload, once you get to the next page, instead of choosing the upload attendance button, you're going to choose the enter attendance button. So you just want to use this when you're planning to enter an individual record and not upload records from an Excel spreadsheet. Once you click enter attendance, a form with the following fields will pop up. All information must be entered in order to process the CE record. The requested fields are program approval code, and they will have a star beside them if they're mandatory. Completion date, participant hours earned, NAB ID, first name, and last name. So it's the same items that are on this spreadsheet. So that's not different. It's just you're going to do these one by one. And so that's why you wouldn't want to do it for multiple people. And then you will still have a process button, just like you do on the other page. The system will notify the sponsor that the record was recorded successfully. You'll see that message on the screen. But unlike the upload mechanism, the records are available immediately to the individual licensee. So if you have somebody that needs a certificate immediately, this is a good feature to use. Okay, and I do see we have some questions coming in. We will have some time at the end for questions. I will definitely get to those. So API, we're going to talk a little bit about what that means. API is an acronym for Application Program Interface, which it's a software intermediary that allows two applications to talk to each other. NAB is working with our developer who developed our system, our NCERS, and our CE Registry and our HSE application. We are working to bring our interested sponsors the potential of connecting our system with theirs. And what would occur is that your system would import records directly into our system with a unique key. And that way, it would call back to your system nightly and pull records into our system. So we are working on that functionality to be able to do that. And then in turn, they would then, for interested states, export records back out to the states. So it would report them directly to the registry. The project is not finished yet. What this will look like is it's coming. There would be an initial setup fee, but it would literally be what our cost was. And they said it's probably between $400 and $600 is what our developer is saying. And that would be a one-time cost. That is what he said his time would be to set up the unique code and give any kind of support needed to get the initial link set up. So if you opt to use that, that is what our cost would be to get that set up for you. We do have some resources, and if you have been on a webinar before, some of these are new, some of these have been around. The first one is our CE Registry Handbook. And what this is it's the NAB Verify User Guide for licensees. This has a lot of really great information in it for your licensees. We do have one out there for for you guys as well. It does have some great information in it. We are working on even updating some of the NCERS information as well. So that is going to, we're revamping our whole NCERS handbook so that you would get some updated information in that. This is something that is new. So if you go to the CE Registry page on our website, this is a PowerPoint for CE providers to use at conferences and webinars. and it will show you step by step how to sign up for the registry that you can use for your administrators. It is available on the website, and it actually has speaker notes in the margins where you can use, and so you can read exactly how to tell your attendees to sign up. It has some of the slides that we did today, and it has the speaker notes that I used to go through today. So some other things you might be interested in is we have a CE registry flyer, and you can see it here. It's just a screenshot of what it looks like, but this is also available on our website. You are more than welcome to use this to distribute to administrators to promote signing up for the CE registry. We have another version that's a combo of the HSE if you're interested in that. The one that's on the website is the dedicated CE registry one though. We have sent all of this to our state boards as well, and they are getting these out to their administrators. And this is actually new as of last week. There's a report feature in your NCERS page that you usually log into. And if you go to the sponsor menu that we've been talking about, that you go to get the attendance, you will now see an option that says reports, and it's been there, but it hasn't had this report. It's a report that says registry ID list. And this actually came from one of our Q&A calls that we had in December, January, and February. One of the providers noted that in addition to the registry search, which you can search for registry numbers, it would be helpful to be able to access an Excel list of the NAB ID numbers to load to the database. So as of last week, this is now available. If you go to the sponsor reports menu in your NAB CE site, you will see this registry ID list. You can also look up expiring programs here as well. That'll save you time rather than searching throughout the entire database for your expiring programs. I will caution you where it says registry ID list, it's only going to pull up the first 100 people. So make sure where it says filter at the top, you change it to show all. So that's very important to do. So if you have any questions about that, let us know, and we can help you with that report. We will be sending out a newsletter. We know that we don't have everybody on this call today, so we will be sending out a newsletter to some of these features. So it's just something that you guys can use. So next steps, and we're going to get to questions here in a second. The resources presented previously will help you in signing up individuals for the registry. These will explain a lot of how to find your NAB ID number, enter credits within the registry, the non-NCERS ones, as well as how to edit and delete the credits that have been self-reported. They can't delete anything provider verified. And then it just talks about, you know, any of that information. Please note that as of April 1st, that's the date that providers are required to begin reporting to the registry. So I just we really do need your help to get this out to our administrators. We've had a lot of success. We're at about 3,600 people who have signed up for the registry, and we're growing by the day, and the fact that we've had to hire extra help at NAB to continue to help these administrators. So the word is out. We just have to continue to grow the group that is out there. So I'm going to start with the questions now, and we're going to go through some of those. So let me stop the recording.